What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is a brand new channel, guys, and we need it to grow. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and make sure you leave a comment so that we can get the conversation popping below. You guys, this is going to be short but sweet. I want to talk a little bit about the Kata Scott situation. Now, I've been watching, I've been listening, and I just want to throw my 2 cents in, okay? And I hope that it brings some type of valuable information. Now, let's talk about her neighborhood. We know that Kata Scott and Gabby live relatively close to each other. Gabby lives right behind Kata Scott. She can literally look out of her window and see what's going on in Kata Scott's backyard. Okay, so that's about as close as she lives. And in a minute, I'm going to show you a map. But in addition to Gabby living on the next block, did you know that Dee, her friend, lives right around the corner, and so did Keon King. Keon King actually grew up in that same neighborhood, less than a mile from all three of those girls. Okay, now I know we knew that he serviced the area for their pharmaceutical needs or whatever, but he grew up in that neighborhood. Keon and his family moved to a home on Durham when Keon was, I think, 10 years old or so. They no longer live there. But as you can see, this is Keon's mom, Raylonda, and here is Keon King's picture. Same address, same house. Now again, this is their previous residence. They have since purchased a home in Delaware, but we'll get to that. My point is that Keon King spent his teenage years growing up in the same neighborhood as Kata Scott, Gabrielle Gillette, and Deontay Murray. They all grew up in that neighborhood. They knew that neighborhood very well, and that school had been sitting there abandoned since 2008. Keon was about 9 years old around that time. Or a little younger. He actually moved into that neighborhood when he was 9 years old. So he spent a good 10 years in that neighborhood, most likely riding his bike, walking, making drug deals over there by that school, doing God knows what. I'm sure they all did their little dirt over there. They were familiar with that school. It had been abandoned and emptied so long that I feel like they knew that they could do kind of whatever they wanted to and get away with it. And that's exactly what he did, or what he thought he was doing, when he committed that heinous crime and tried to cover it up there. I mean, just look at this place. It is absolutely frightening. I could not imagine walking past this place or waking up seeing it every day. I would not even want to live close to this building. It looks that creepy. So you tell me, who do you think would go out to this location in the dead of night with no lights on and feel comfortable doing that, besides someone who had been there many times, someone who feels very comfortable and pretty much knows this area inside out? It would be Keon King, the neighborhood dope man. Of course, he has to know all the ins and outs, the crooks, the turns, the cracks and crevices of the neighborhood. He has to know that information. And again, his attorney gave a press conference and he stated that the previous residence, which was that Durham location, the police kicked in the front door, thinking that Keon King was still living there. For some unknown reason, the authorities did not know that Keon King's entire family packed up a year ago and moved to Delaware. Keon King included, because his name is definitely attached to that new residence. Now on to Gabby. I did want to make a couple of points about Gabby and Dee as well before I get off of here. My first question would be, why, after making an outbound call, because we now know that it was outbound and not inbound as you stated, so that's one lie, okay? This is why we don't believe you, because the math ain't mathin'. But back to what I was saying. After you made an outbound call to this man for 29 seconds, he felt the need to go and get a secondary number, which is the Text Me Now app or whatever. It's the equivalent of a burner phone. After speaking with you for 29 seconds. So, what did you guys talk about? That would be my first question. And I don't know if after he received his Text Now number or whatever, he called you back. I am not sure. But what we do know is that on the 2nd of October, he texted Kata Scott and told her that that was his new number, meaning that he didn't want her to no longer contact him on his regular everyday number. Okay? Also, once Kata Scott was deemed to be missing and they were looking for her, you stated that you spoke with Keon again. This time, you stated you reached out to him and it was very loud. You went to a quiet spot, and the first thing you said to him is, that girl is missing. Kata, that girl you asked, she's missing, basically. Sound to me like you were a little bit frantic. But the kicker is that he hung up on you. You know why he hung up on you? Well, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Because in his mind, he didn't want you to say anything incriminating on that line. Bitch, bye. And I'm sure, I'll bet my bottom dollar, because we know that he had that Text Now number in place. I bet as soon as he hung up, he called your behind back and y'all had a discussion. I'd like to know what that discussion was about also, because it doesn't make sense. I have another question in regards to that second phone conversation. Why, on God's green earth, would Keon King be the first person you think to call after you found out the news about Kata Scott? Hmm? I'll tell you why. I'm brilliant. But I'll tell you why. Because you knew that it was very pertinent that he got that information. It was so important that he knew that they are looking for that girl and they're going to be coming for you next. Another thing that kind of irritated me was the fact that Gabby continued to make this big deal. She said it 2 or 3 times. I'm out of town. I'm out of town. I'm out of town in school. We get it. But you're in Maryland. You're not in California. You're literally 120 miles away, which is about an hour and 35, 40 minutes. Like, make it make sense. The math is not mathing. Okay? And it was on a Sunday. So how are we supposed to know where you spent your weekend? You could have very well been in Philly. Period. And D. Everybody remember D, the young lady who was walking around the neighborhood giving a full-fledged tour of the area, block, and everything like that where Kata Scott lived. She told everybody's business, but she forgot to let us know about her own. Come to find out, this young lady is the accomplice that's listed on the paperwork for Gabby. All those charges that we saw racked up for Gabby. Well, the whole time I thought that the accomplice was a man until I did my research, only to find out that it is this young lady. Her name is Deontay Rosette, or Deontay Rosetta Murray. And she has, when I tell you this young lady has a whole bunch of charges, wow, mind blowing. Like, what are you guys doing? And who are you guys doing it to? And what for? That's where my mind is going. And she stated several times that Keon King was her friend's friend. Are you sure you don't know Keon King like that? There's a whole video of you circulating about 5 years ago in the car with Keon King, just laughing, getting high. You seem like you were pretty well acquainted with him. You said that he sells you and your friend rugs. He's been y'all rug dealer for the longest. You showed us exactly where he sits and sells his rugs all day, and you all have grown up in the same neighborhood. Are you sure that you don't know Keon King like that? Hmm, I beg to differ. Before I close out this video, I'm going to say this. I'm just going to give my thought. I feel like this wasn't something that had to do with Kata Scott and Keon King being in some type of relationship or some type of jealous rage. No, I feel like Kata Scott knew something, or she saw something, or Keon King thought that she knew something, or saw something, or owed something, because he was in a hurry to get rid of her. She had to go by any means necessary. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He went and he executed. It doesn't even seem like there was any talking time. And when things happen like that, there's usually some type of urgency to get it done really quickly because something is at stake. Some type of information, something incriminating, something. I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar on it. I am digging to find out who the other two people were helping. I believe in my heart of hearts that it was one of the young ladies at that Belmar address. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, unless there was someone else there in the house that we don't know about. But those are the only other two people that the probable cause spoke about. And I know that they did release them, but that doesn't mean that they can't pick them back up. I just feel that one of those young ladies was a stud girl, a more masculine girl. And I think that they are mistaking the two people being out there doing whatever they were doing for two guys, when in all actuality, I believe that it's Keon King, and I believe, I think the girl name is Lyracia Lopez Sanchez. I believe she's a stud, but I can't find only limited amount of information on them. I'm looking for images, so if anyone knows who those two people are, that Madeline Brown and Lyracia Marie Sanchez Lopez, I think. um, Please give all insight. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please make sure that you comment below and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel.